Hello, I'm Pamela Davis. Welcome to episode 174 of the Well Done Life podcast. Hello, and welcome back to episode 174 of the Well Done Life podcast. I'm your host, Pamela Davis. If you are new here, hey, how are you? Welcome. I am so glad that you are here this week with me. I hope you stay for a very long time. And if you've been here before, you guys know the deal. I love you deep. Thank you so much for your continued support and encouragement of my journey. I couldn't imagine being here at this point without you. We're at episode 174. I feel like this is just such a beautiful spot to end this year, and I'm just so grateful for you. So I hope that you will continue to ride this journey with me. I promise this is only the beginning. Well, before we get started with this week's episode, I want to make sure that I'm foundational. For those of you that have been listening to me before, I'm sure you can recite this with me, but you guys know that I really believe that it is very important to make sure that we are clear about what this is. And this is truly a space that I created based upon two very important foundations, and that is clarity and love. And I want to make sure that I am giving you the clarity that you need to understand that the Well Done Life is a brand that I created for women. I believe that women are the foundation of society. I think we need more places to share, to build community, to get to know each other, to inspire each other. And so this is your safe space. And I hope that while you're here, you feel loved, you feel seen, you feel valued, you feel understood, and you feel inspired, because when you share your story with someone else, that's how we all learn how to live the well done life, because everything that we have been through is an opportunity for us to grow and to expand. And so it's the good, the bad, the ugly, all of it. If we just stand in our truth, you'd be amazed at what blessings can come to you and how you can bless somebody. So that is what this is all about. And then that leads me into my second foundation, my favorite foundation of this safe space, this house, and that is love. Love is my thing. I believe in love. I love love. And I want to make sure that I show you love every week by sending you prayers. I'm truly a believer that when two or more people come together in prayer, our prayers are magnified. And so I like to make sure that I send you prayers every week. This week, I'm sending you prayers of peace. First off, I definitely want to make sure that you have peace. I think it's very important. We are in the last part of the year, at the crazy time, the holidays, so many demands on our time from work, from family, just in general. And it is very difficult sometimes to carve out moments of peace for yourself. I hope that you take time where you can be quiet, where you can sit in the stillness of your thoughts and just regulate your mind and your body and really just allow yourself to be. You know, there's so many things that we're all trying to accomplish, and not just now. We're thinking about what we're doing for 2024 and, just trying to set the foundation. But in stillness, great movement happens sometimes. And what I mean by in stillness, that great movement happens, a lot of times in stillness, when we are able to sit with our thoughts and our intention and our prayers, that's where we get imparted to. That's where we learn our next direction. That is where we hear the confirmation of what we're doing so far, or the redirection of what we're doing, so that we can kind of course correct and figure out where we need to go. You need to take those moments of stillness for yourself in peace, because it could be the key to your next level, but it also could be the key to your happiness, because there is happiness in stillness. And sometimes you have to sit still. Sometimes you have to not move. It is very hard because we always want to react. We always want to move, but sometimes you have to sit still, because there's a word that you need to have imparted in your spirit. There is something that you need to learn that is going to help you when it's your time to move again. So don't be so hard on yourself about moments of stillness. Allow them to come into your life as you need them to come, or seek them out, because like I said, in stillness, there is peace. And I want you to have peace above all things. I'm also sending you prayers of softness. I want you to have prayers of softness. And what I mean by softness is I want you to feel comfortable being you, comfortable allowing your heart to be on your sleeve, comfortable leading with love, not feeling like you just have to constantly be on guard. Because when we constantly feel like we're on guard, it is very difficult for us to be receptive and open to different people, places, or situations that are being brought into our life in order to teach us something. It necessarily may not be at this moment an impartation for you to go to another level. It could just be just an invitation for you to explore a different opportunity of thought. It could be an opportunity for you to connect with someone who can teach you something different. So I want you to have softness, because in softness, we're open. And I think this is a season where you need to be open, where you need to be receptive, where you need to realize that maybe the path that you've been on needs to change. It may have seemed like the right path in the time that you were on it, but maybe God is trying to tell you that, it's time for you to take a new direction. And sometimes you have to get soft, you have to get open, you have to get vulnerable so that redirection can sit in your spirit and you can make the decision to change your life. And like I said, softness is not necessarily always, having your emotions on your sleeve. That's not about that. You can still be discernful. You can still be skeptical. Those are still things that can be there. And those are methods of protection. But be soft. Don't be so hard. Don't block out your blessings. Kind of like what I was talking to you guys about last week. Everybody needs somebody. And so in softness, you are able to receive people in your life sometimes. You're able to be imparted into, because people can break through. There's no wall. It's actually just an open door. But a lot of times when we have different barriers up, different protective boundaries, and those are in air quotes, because, we have to be careful about how we're using the word boundaries nowadays, because some people are using boundaries as blocks, and you don't want to block your blessing. You don't want to block this next opportunity that could be coming into your life. You want to be soft. You want to be pliable. You want to be open, because when you're pliable, there is room for more expansion. There is room for more growth. There is room for more learning. And obviously, all of those things would serve you to make you better. And that's really what all of this is about. We want to see you be better. So I want you to have softness. So like I said, I'm sending you prayers of peace and softness. And of course, I'm always going to send you prayers of love, because love is the thing. I mean, it really is. Without love, it's like, how much stuff can you acquire? I mean, you need it. You need to be able to have people in your life who you love, who are in your corner, who want the best for you with no strings attached. Let me preface that, like the people who just want to see you win because they know that you can win. You deserve that type of love. You deserve love from the top of your head to the bottom of your feet type of love, the love where you can be at peace, the love that can really foster you being soft, just to create that beautiful space within you where you can just be the truest version of yourself. Because going into these years, especially, and I'm thinking about it loud, we're about to go into 2024, and I don't care how old you are, you really do have to stop and ask yourself, like, how long am I going to allow myself not to be the truest version of myself? And I mean that, like, you have to ask yourself, like, how long are you going to allow that to be the case? Because you're so caught up in trying to protect yourself, or so caught up in trying to be what people think you should be versus being yourself. This is your time. Be who you are. Love yourself enough to stand in the fullness of you, because there's no greater moment for that. There is no better time. There's nothing that's going to happen magically that's going to tell you that you have to step into the fullness of who you are. You just have to get to a point in your life where you say, you know what? I love me enough to stand in the fullness of me and let my light shine. Because if not now, when are you going to let that light shine? So like I said, I'm wrapping into love, because self-love is the greatest love that you can have. Because if you have self-love, that's where you're able to radiate that self-love out. And that will attract the people that you need in your life, who will love you with no strings attached, who will be those safe spaces, those covering, those comforting spaces where your light can shine and you can just be wonderful, goofy, amazing, awkward you. I know. And I'm raising my hand because I'm like awkward and goofy. I mean, truly. But I'm really grateful for being able to stand in the fullness of me now. And it's a beautiful feeling. It's a lighter feeling. That's why I want you also to do it. I want you to feel light, because love is light. Peace is light. Softness is light. And you deserve that type of moment. You deserve that type of life, because out here trying to do everything, you will get caught up in a cycle where you feel like you have to constantly, like I said, guard yourself against everything. You're constantly trying to do everything, and you're not allowing the fullness of you to step in. Let the fullness of you step in, because that's where your blessing is. It's in the fullness of you, because you are unique, you are special, you are one of one, and no one can do what you do. And you got to get to that point where you decide, you know what, I'm going to let it out, because I am exactly who I was born to be. And I am surrounded and deserving in love, peace, and softness all the days of my life. So I really hope that you have that. And of course, rounding out my prayers, I definitely want to send you prayers of abundance. I truly want you to be blessed financially. I mean, last week I did tell you guys about my financial journey a little bit, where I filed bankruptcy and now have built my way back. And let me tell you, like I said, it wasn't just about paying back a debt. It was about learning how I don't work for money. Money works for me, and changing my mindset and understanding that I'm not a prisoner to debt. I'm not a prisoner to money. I can change the narrative and change how I deal with money, because once I change my narrative and my thought and my perception, abundance followed me, because that's the key. You gotta get to that point. So if we're talking about it from a financial standpoint, I hope that this is a season where you are covered in prayers, where you can actually think about how you want to change your relationship with money, not so that you're working for it, that money works for you, that it's not flowing out of your hands, that it's flowing into your hands. And you're able to still do all the things that you want to do, because you are making better decisions, because again, you're working on yourself in other areas, mentally, physically, financially, all going together so that you can have that abundance. But then also you understand that you are attracted, that you are deserving and worthy of abundance financially, and that money instantly comes to you. So that is part of the abundance journey. But then I always like to make sure that I preface, we're not always just talking about the financial. We must talk about the spiritual. It is so important, because the greatest gift that you have outside of your health is your spirit. And when your spirit is full, when your spirit is loved and nurtured and supported, that's where the fullness of you gets to shine. That's where the light of the world, the light in you, everyone gets to see. And you want to create those moments that fill you up in your spirit, because no matter how much money you make, how much money you lose, your spirit is always going to be with you. And you want to make sure that you are doing things that pour into you, because it is easier to make money. It is harder to fill the spirit, especially after you've been through hurts. If you think about it, that's why a lot of people feel the way they do or act the way they do, because they're carrying hurts within their spirit that they haven't healed from. So you have to recognize that spirit is actually the most valuable thing that you have. You can make back money. You can't make back your spirit. Your spirit will have to heal and have to grow, and you'll have to go through a lot to do that. But you can go out here and hustle up and make money back like it's nothing. So remember, never value money more than you value who you are internally, who you are in your soul, to the core of your being. But make sure, above all, that you value the little moments, that you celebrate the people in your life who feel like sunshine, the people who make you feel like you could conquer the world and do anything. Those people, those lights, are there to help you cultivate that spirit, to bring back that spirit. And it's very hard, very far and few between to come by. So make sure you value them. Make sure you value you. Make sure you are doing what you need to protect and preserve your spirit, so that you can be abundant on all levels, not just financially. Like I'm talking about really all levels. It all works together. So I want to make sure that you really think about that, especially in this season of so much consumerism. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm spending money too. We all are. It's just what we do. But you want to make sure that it's not just about spending the money. It's about creating the moment. It's about celebrating the people that you love on the purest and most open level, and really being grateful for all that you have been given, all that you are surrounded in, so that you are spiritually abundant, along with financially abundant too. So Like I said, those are my prayers for you this week. And I really hope that you feel blessed and imparted in. I'm recording on Thursday, December the 7th at 8:46 p.m. It's been a little bit a little bit of a week, and it's a little bit late for me, but I'm so glad that I'm here. It has just been really great, but super busy. And I did not think I was going to get here, but I am so glad that I'm here because this is my last episode of 2023 with y'all. Last week was our second to last episode, and it's time to put in work. And I'm so grateful that everyone was so open and supportive of the content. I was so scared to put that episode out because, exposing myself financially, my mistakes, and how I even though I've come back from it, even though I feel like I've done a lot of healing work from it. Of course, being vulnerable is never easy, but I hope that it helps somebody understand that you can come back. You might be in a season right now where you are feeling down, where you are at bottom, but you can come back. You just have to have that will inside of yourself to say, I'm not giving up and I'm going to come back. So I hope if anything that you got from that episode, like I said, kind of talking about those pillars, those key areas of physical health, emotional health, financial health, and spiritual health, that no matter what season that you are in those areas of your life, always remember that you can come back. And so if you haven't had a chance to listen to that episode, I'm going to put a link in the show notes so that you can listen to it. But this week, like I said, we're here. This is the last episode for me for 2023. And normally, what I like to do is do a recap. My recap is a little different. Like I said, I am not a vision board girl anymore. I've done it. I've tried it. I found my niche though a few years ago where I sat down over the course of this month and probably the past couple of months, thinking about, the things that I'm going to leave behind in this year. I did it last year. It's a little different because I actually did it for the things that I'm leaving behind in 2022, as well as the things that I'm leaving behind for the next decade of my life, because really kind of teeing this up for me as a 50-year-old woman, it is super important to me that I am super intentional about my time because unfortunately, half of my life, if I'm very lucky to live to 100, is over. And so I have to think about the time that I have in front of me right now. How do I want to live? Like, this is my time. This is my season. And part of that also is because, as many of you know, I'm a caregiver. And so I have spent the last almost 14 plus years giving of my time, my energy, my emotion, my dreams, and my life to my family with no regret. And I'm very grateful because those moments have made me and shaped me into the woman that I am. But this next 10 years of my life, I'm not playing because the journey from 50 to 60 is not going to look like the journey from 30 to 40. It's a whole different ball game at this level. And so for me, it has been super important that I am very intentional about my time, about my energy, about my health, about who I am as a person and how I want to live these next 10 years. And I'm definitely not saying that it's over, but in this next 10 years, I'm coming for it all. So I have to make sure that, again, I show a lot of time and intention. So one of the things that I did was last year, I ended it off by talking about the things, like I said, that I am leaving behind, not just in 2022, but in the next decade of my life. So those things that I'm left behind, and I'm going to talk to you guys about it, kind of give you a quick rundown before I talk to you about what we're doing for this year. Those things that I left, I really ruminated on. And rumination, that's one of my favorite words lately now, rumination. I really ruminated on it because I really wanted to be very clear, like I said, because we're covering such a big bulk of time about some of the things that have been holding me back, just full transparency, that have been holding me back from being the best version of myself. And so this list that I'm about to give you is carrying forward, obviously, because we're covering a span of 10 years. And then I'm going to give you guys a quick rundown of a few other things that I'm going to be focusing on going into 2024 and how I came about that, because I'm hopeful that you are inspired to take a moment and cultivate a plan, whatever that looks like, vision board, intentions, words, lists, whatever that looks like, to help you tee up what you want to do in 2024, because if you don't plan, you are planning to fail. And none of us are planning to fail. We are planning to succeed and thrive. And so I think it's important that we create checks and balances that help us thrive, that we have some accountability. So for me, like I told you guys before, I carry this list. It's actually on the front of my cell phone so that I constantly have a reminder, and it's on my computer because that's the easiest way to get my attention, unfortunately, just because of the nature of life, so that I'm constantly keeping these things top of mind. So my list of things that I left behind in 2022 and the next decade of my life, this next 10 years, are as follows: overthinking, not living fully, not recognizing my boldness or power, not remembering that everyone is not on the same level of healing as me, not surrendering to God, not being clear about my goals and objectives in every area of my life, not speaking my mind about my emotions, including my triggers, not consistently dating myself, not being present, and not stating and executing my boundaries. Because if I looked at my life from 40 to 50, I really felt like those things have really not, they really had held me back. They really had put me in a position at times where I allowed myself to be in seasons of mediocrity. And a season of mediocrity is to me where you are in a season where you know darn well that this is not the level that you're supposed to be at all the time, but you are existing at this level because it's comfortable. You've decided that you're going to sit in a season of comfort versus a season of trying to move forward, a season of trying to press. Because, when you're moving forward into new levels, you have challenges, you have to face yourself. And sometimes you just don't have the strength, in you to face yourself. And so I went through seasons of mediocrity. And I talked to you guys about that. Like, I stayed in my last job for 14 years, knowing that I wasn't as valued as I could have been, knowing I wasn't as paid as I could have been, because it was comfortable, because I was existing. And I did not feel confident enough at that point in me to be able to shake the room and to make some moves. So I did. I sat in a season of mediocrity. And I say that to say, you don't have to be hard on yourself if you recognize that you're in a season of mediocrity. You really shouldn't. And I don't want you to be, because sometimes you have to sit in that season of mediocrity and you have to learn the lesson of your worth and your value and claim your peace and get your mind back and your mental health together so that you can elevate out of that situation. Because there will come a time when the mediocrity stops being enough and you're ready for more. And that's when you'll know that you're ready to start working on yourself and getting in line for your next season. And so, yeah, don't feel like that. Like I said, I sat in it for 14 years. I did amazing, beautiful, abundant things, but I knew I was deserving of more. I just didn't have the strength to go get it. And sometimes we all have to be understanding of the fact that we are not going to always have the strength to go get it. But when the call comes and the moment happens, when you start to feel that itch in your soul and your spirit, that pull on you like this is not enough and that you are worthy of more, answer the call. That's really that simple. Answer it, because that is literally God in the universe trying to tell you that it's time. Like, you've been here long enough. I've let you sit here and stew. I've let you sit here and heal. I've done a few things for you. You've done a few things. Everything's coming together, but I'm ready to give you more. So I need you to step forward, and I promise you it will all come together. So I just kind of wanted to explain that, because I know, sometimes it can have a negative connotation when you're sitting in those seasons. And I think we just have to stop judging people who are sitting in those seasons, because everybody sat in the season, whether you talked about it or not. We have all been in a season of mediocrity. So, like I said, those were my things that I left behind and that I am carrying, that I left behind for this next 10 years. So these are all going to continue to follow through with me because I'm still overthinking. I'm trying not to as much, and I think I'm doing a much better job at it. But a lot of these are still things that I have to work on. I mean, obviously, even being able to speak my mind about my emotions and my triggers, I really feel like I've done a great job this year of getting to the point where I can speak about my emotions honestly and fully, like standing in the fullness of myself, because I've made the decision to lead with love because I want love. And so I just feel like I decided to do it, and I do it even when my voice shakes and even when I start to second guess. And it has definitely served me well. It has brought love into my life, and I'm very grateful. Like, I feel surrounded in love in everything that I do. And so I'm just saying these things to say that sometimes the things that you leave behind, you're going to keep going. And we talked about that a little bit last week in our episode, that it's time to put in work, that sometimes you are not going to leave certain things behind. You're going to keep bringing them forward because you really haven't fixed the issue completely. And I think sometimes that you have to give yourself permission to take the issue with you, to take the challenge with you, not necessarily an issue. Let's call it a challenge, because to me, being able to speak my mind when I'm triggered is a challenge for me, because it's something I'm going to overcome. It's just something that I have to be cognizant of, that I can easily slip into that pattern. So I work accordingly to try to make sure that I don't fall into those. So again, setting the foundation, those things are coming with me. That's what I left behind. But this year, I kind of decided, like I said, to take a different approach, because I do have already a decent sized list foundationally of things that are going to follow me for the next 10 years. I need to keep those things top of mind, that I'm leaving them behind, because as I'm living life on this new level of 50, I really feel a lot freer. I am I'm a lot more able to speak my mind, articulate my feelings, stand in the fullness of me, but I'm still in the world. I'm still in, and the world can definitely make you start to doubt who you are based upon situations and things and people who you're going to come into contact with, or who I've come into contact with. So I have to make sure that I keep that foundation top of mind so that I can check myself. And that's one thing I definitely want to say as you guys are preparing your list, as you're thinking about the things that you are trying to accomplish, you have to remember you are going to be checked. So please make sure you are cultivating an opportunity for you to speak over yourself, because you are going to be your greatest cheerleader on this journey. Yes, you will have the support and love of your friends and your family and all of that, but just understand that you are going to be the greatest cheerleader that you have for yourself, and you are going to have to speak over yourself. You're going to have to speak to your fears. And we've talked about that numerous times. And I always reference Elizabeth Gilbert's book, Big Magic, where there's a section of the book where she talks about speaking to her fear and letting her fear know that, we're driving this car together. You're on the passenger side, but I'm the driver. I'm in control. And you have to make sure that you are constantly doing that for yourself, because you're out here trying to do all the things. Life is still lifing, and you're still going to be faced with things. And even though you're going to be in seasons where it's beautiful and wonderful and life is just everything is great, that does not mean that life does not still life. I can tell you, I've had a beautiful year. If I were to look at 2023 has been an amazing year. God has truly been by my side, truly opened doors, and just shown me so much in this year. But that does not mean that life did not life. Life has lifed, but instead of running from it, I walked through it, because I knew that God was with me. I knew that there is nothing that I can't face if I don't keep going through it. And so you have to get to that point, because you've spoken to your fears, where you decide that you're going to face every obstacle. You're going to do what you need to do. You're going to stay committed to who you are. You're going to stay committed to the path that you are on, because you know that this is your time. And you know that you're doing the work. So we're doing the work. We're in this season. We're in this time. We've been intentional about our goals, and we have things that we're going to carry with us. We're going to speak to the fears as they come up, and we're going to keep pressing. But we're also going to look at, how do we start to continue to build upon that? Because like I said, I did all of that last year. Now I got to figure out what I'm going to do this year. And so what I've decided to do in reference to what I'm leaving behind, like I said, that list is going to stay the same. But one thing that I really feel like is in my spirit is really looking at life in quadrants. And I talked quite a bit about the quadrant last week in Time to Put in Work. So again, not trying to hype up my own content, but I would totally recommend, that you check out that episode, because I think I gave you guys a good foundation of how to leverage the quadrants. So essentially, the quadrant method is really an opportunity for you to sit down and look at your life on 4 different levels. And maybe your levels are going to look different, but my key areas of life, or my levels, are number 1, physical health, emotional health, mental health, financial health, and spiritual health. Those are my 4 quadrant areas that I'm looking at for my life. And what I'm doing there is I've made a decision that I'm going to think about in my life what I want to accomplish in each of those areas and set a very smart goal. And when we think about smart goals, let's take it back to what we are thinking about when we're working. And those are strategic, measurable, actionable, achievable, realistic, targeted goals. I mean, like really, and that might not have been the proper acronym, but I will definitely make sure I leave the correct acronym if I was wrong in the show notes. But essentially, you get what I'm saying. Like, you want these to be like really strategically smart things that you are trying to accomplish. And so for me, I think that it's important now that I have the list that I'm leaving behind for the next 10 years. That's not going to change right now. I feel like going into 2024, that list of things is still the same, but I need to take a little bit more of a more strategic approach as it relates to those 4 areas because I'm ready for my next level. And then, taking it a step further, I really even think about how it aligns to my goals, my words of 2024. And my words for 2024 are unshakable faith or unshakable. Unshakable faith is the phrase that just sits with me. Audacious. And I think about audacious prayers, like being very bold with my prayers to God and beliefs in my life. And also, I'm in a season of expansion. And we'll talk a little bit about that as well, because yes, this is really a season of expansion for me, as well as the podcast going into 2024. But so back to the quadrant method, not to bounce around. Literally, the best way to work it is you really could get like a simple piece of paper, or you could do it on a computer and do a T and write out your quadrant. And like I said, my number 1 is physical health. So let's start there. For me, one of the things that I really want to do that I think is smart, measurable, actionable, realistic, and achievable is I really want to this year commit to working out 5 to 6 times, going to 2024, 5 to 6 times a week for an hour each day. And I'm putting in a certain mileage in my mind of like how because I love my Peloton. I waxed poetically last week about how I love my Peloton. I also dropped in a coupon code in last week's episode for anyone who would like to check it out. Because with Peloton, we have this code that you can share. It's not like I get paid or anything off it. I just love spreading the word of it because I love Peloton, but I digress. And so, yeah, that is one of the goals that I'm going to make for myself. I want to work out 5 to 6 times a week. And I want to work out for an hour a day each day, riding my Peloton. And I'm probably going to do, I think I'm going to start to try to goal myself to do 10 to 12 miles a day on my bike. And I normally don't go that hard all the time. I normally ride about 45 minutes a day when I do ride, just because knee health, I talked to y'all about that last week. Your girl has really my right knee literally has probably been rebuilt, and I really want to keep it that way. I want to keep her solid and strong, but I love the Peloton. It's great on your joints, and I've been able to lose a great amount of weight doing it. I've lost 50 pounds. And so it is health-wise, it has really put me in this great space. And so I definitely want to make sure that I expand upon that. So that's one of my things that I really am looking at in regards to my physical health. That's my goal for my physical health. And so if looking at the quadrant, that would be my number 1 thing to put there. And then on top of that, with my physical health, I just want to make sure this year, I know this probably sounds so crazy to say, but I really have to say it. I really just want to take all of my exams on time, like the well women visits, the mammograms, all of that. I am prioritizing getting that done on time, because I don't know about y'all, but I'm literally one of those people. I will reschedule the meeting. The doctor's appointment to go to a meeting. I have done that before. And I have I told y'all before, I put off getting a colonoscopy because I wanted to go see Beyonce. And I was worried, I don't want to ruin that, even though it was nothing. I mean, I think this year, I'm just making the commitment to myself that when it's time for me to get all of my exams, I'm going to do it. I'm not going to make excuses for it. I will take time off if I need to do that in order to get it done. But I'm I'm going to get it done. And I think that is, I know that probably sounds super small, but y'all, let's just be honest with ourselves. We are quick to put off our health in order to be available to someone else's needs. And we have to stop doing that, because we are the most important thing that we have. Like, our vessel is the most important thing. You do not get another one. So we cannot afford to not make us a priority. These jobs, they will be all right if we take a day off. They'll be all right. They'll be fine. So why should we not prioritize that? So this year I am prioritizing it. I am prioritizing going to the dentist because I love my teeth. I am prioritizing getting my eyes checked. I'm prioritizing every exam that I need to do, because I prioritize going to the chiropractor every 2 weeks. I can prioritize getting these other exams and visits done because it's important to my health, and I value myself and love myself, and I want to maintain me. So I'm going to do it. So like I said, my 2 goals for this year under my physical health quadrant are, I'm going to increase my time on my Peloton to 5 to 6 days a week, riding an hour at a time, 45 minutes to an hour at a time, and goaling myself to at least ride 10 miles plus every ride so that I can really see what my body can do. I have made an effort, or I've already made it a choice, a lifestyle to eat differently. Like, I really do try to keep healthy snacks in and try to really take care of that. So I don't really feel like that is an issue for me at this point. In reference to like losing weight and all that, I really don't put the pressure on myself to do that anymore. Like, I intermittent fast and I don't eat a lot of dairy, and I find that works really well for my body, and that's what I do. Like, I'm not here to give people weight loss tips because I'm thick and I like being thick, but I'm healthy. Like, literally, when I went to the doctor last time, she's like, "You are so healthy. Like, there is absolutely nothing wrong with you." I know, but according to y'all, I'm like morbidly obese probably, but I'm healthy and I'm not taking any medicine. All right, then. As long as I keep that kind of balance for myself, I feel good. Find what works for you. This is why I'm telling you that. Find what works for you. Don't feel like you have to do what everyone feels like you have to do in order to get healthy. Health is a state of mind, but it is also a state of action and choices. And sometimes you got to make hard choices in order to get what you want. But if you want to be around, if you want to be healthy, if you want to be, this vessel to be active and to do all the things that you need to do, you have to start here to me. You are the most important part. Your foundation, your vessel has to be taken care of, because like I've told y'all last week, there is nothing that you're going to be able to accomplish if you're physically not well. When you are physically unwell, your mental health suffers, your financial health is going to suffer, and your spiritual health is going to suffer. It all goes together. So make sure that you are doing what you need to do to take care of you physically. So those are my goals going into the first section of the quadrant. Now, kind of tying into the second one, obviously emotional health, mental health. For me, what I have found is really important that I do, and that I'm going to actually do a better job of this year, is I'm going to take more time off from work. It is one of the hardest things that I struggle with. Like, it is very difficult for me to take time off because I just have that A-type personality. And I'm not trying to take off like weeks at a time, but I am going to prioritize going to spas if I want to go to the spa, or if I just want to sit on my behind for a day in my house and not do anything, I'm going to do that as a mental health day. I'm going to prioritize taking vacations and mental health days. I'm also going to prioritize making sure that I am continuously checking in with myself emotionally, because it is challenging, out here trying to accomplish so many things. And so I am going to make sure that I'm doing a better job of checking in with me emotionally. Like I told you, my sister and I check in with each other emotionally every day. It's very important. We ask each other how we're doing on a scale of 1 to 10 emotionally. And on those days, I'm going to start like keeping better track of how I'm feeling. And if I feel that I might need a little boost, I really am considering going back to therapy. And let me preface that I'm in a really good headspace emotionally. Like, I feel amazing. Literally, if I were to rate myself on a scale of 1 to 10 right now, I would probably be like a 9.5. And only because I have like other things that I need to be doing. But you guys bring me joy. So you got me to a 9.5. And I think about that in the sense we have to check in. Like, I don't want I don't want my mental health to be a habit that I'm just more focused on someone else. I have to make sure I'm paying attention to what I'm saying and give myself the space and the honesty to admit that if I need to go back into therapy because I need an outlet, I need someone to talk to, someone to help me navigate through things, that I'm open to it. I'm not saying that that's what I'm going to do. I'm just saying that it's an option. And so right now, one of the things this year for me going into 2024 is I'm going to keep my options open for my mental health. If I need to go to therapy, I'm going to do it. If I need to go on a vacation real quick so I can get myself together, I'm going to do it. I have taken staycations previously to where I would just go and stay in a hotel for a couple of days and just kind of sleep. Like literally, people would be surprised what I'm doing. Like I'm going to sleep. I just wanted to go to sleep and not have somebody call my name. I wanted to go to sleep and not have to worry about feeding somebody. I wanted to go to sleep and not have to worry about picking somebody up. So I would literally take time away from my mom and my sister where I would take staycations. And I didn't take one this year. No, I didn't, just because I've been traveling more with my friends and I really have enjoyed that. And so that's also a part of my mental health journey. I am going to take more vacations where I can, little day trips, backpack crew, shout out to the backpack crew. They know who they know, who when moments and adventures come up, because those little moments and adventures feed into my soul. Those little moments and adventures feed into my mental health. Prioritize time for anything that brings you joy to feed into your mental health. And those are little things that you can do that don't necessarily have to break the bank to keep you happy. Ultimately, I'm telling you all this to say is that you got to make sure you have some goals this year to make you happy. Because again, if we're working on the physical, we got to make sure that the mental is strong so that everything will come together. So those are my 3 things for my emotional and mental health. And then kind of going into financial, this year, like I said, I finished up my bankruptcy. It has definitely been a really impactful journey because I really learned how to be more financially responsible. And I'm very grateful for it. Like I said, I wouldn't change it. And so now I'm at this point where it's like, I feel differently about money. So I am focused on just continuing to make good decisions about money. Like I told you guys, my sister and I have Finance Fridays every Fridays, and I'm looking forward to our Finance Friday tomorrow, so that we can talk about where we are with things. And I think what I'm going to do is step it up is, I want to step up my savings game going into 2024, making sure that I can do all the things, but I need to make sure that I'm carving a little bit more discretionary income for savings. And that's just something, a personal goal to me. And before, I had done a really great job of saving. I used this app called Capital because I don't believe in gatekeeping. Capital is a great app that you can download on your phone where you can set up like little different goals and objectives, like for vacations, for buying a house, for just saving in general, where you can take money and have it automatically filtered into this account based upon your spending habits. Or you can set a certain amount of your money out of your paycheck to do it. Or you can do the 52-week challenge with dollars, and the dollar increases every week until you're able to save X amount of dollars. I mean, there's just so many ways to do it. And so I really do want to have some fun with savings. I do savings now. I save a good portion. Like obviously I have 401k, and then I have a previous 401k from my old job that I save into. But I feel like, just having cash is a really great thing to do. And so, because obviously cash is king. Yes, credit is important. Credit is king too. But let's say cash then is queen, because you obviously want to make sure that you have liquid so that you're able to, have somewhere to go when life starts to life, because life gonna life. So that is one of the things that I want to do a better job of, or a more focused job of, going into my financial health in 2024, as well as I am looking at, making sure that I am focusing on how do I want to establish, more business credit for expansion in regards to like the podcast and my brand, The Well Done Life. And so I am focused on taking opportunities to learn more about how I can be more strategic and how I can continue to grow. And so those things are really important for me in regards to building financial health and building equity and wealth, and just going out here and seeing what I can accomplish. This is fun. I've decided to make money fun. Like I said, I changed my mindset around it a long time ago during the bankruptcy. And so now money is fun to me, and being able to cultivate it and expand it is fun. So I am keeping that as a top priority for me this year. And so I'm saying that to you because no matter what season of it you're in, if you're in a season where you have debt to pay, or if you're in a season where you're building or rebuilding, make it fun. Don't beat yourself up for the mistakes. Make it fun. Forgive yourself. Change your relationship with money and get to work. Like, it really is that simple. It is like, if you don't change, nothing else is going to change. And if you know that you want better, start small and build better, because you can do it. And you have to be consistent about it, but be about it. Be about the business of you. And so those are my goals from a financially healthy perspective. And then when I think of spiritual health, for me, rounding it out, it is very important for me to just continue to keep God as the center of my life. I really am really focused on that. I'm very grateful that I've cultivated this space in my soul and my heart, my relationship, where I go to God above all things. When I feel cross, I go to God first. When I feel love, I go to God first. When I feel any emotion, I go to God first. It could be to thank Him. It could be to pray, for a lesson to learn, be done, or it could be gratitude. I just go to God because I know God is the center of my life. And so for me, it is really spiritually about making sure that I am keeping Him there, as well, in the good times and the bad, because, a lot of times when we're going through, God is always on the main line when we're going through. But when we are doing well, when things are just magnificent, to me, that's when we even have to pray harder, because it's like you want to pray so that you can just be grateful and attract more of it and more discernment to keep it, because it is easy in certain situations, if we get haughty, to lose that perspective. And so I just don't want to lose it. So for me, that is like my main goal. I don't need to make it too much more complex than that. It's just to keep God first in everything I do, and to continuously be grateful and thankful for Him, and go to Him with all things, little or small, good or bad. And that will always be the focus of my life. So those are my goals that I'm kind of taking with me into 2024. Not really I am taking with me into 2024. Those are my things. And so that's my quadrant. Essentially, it's like we hit those 4 areas and just kind of line out those goals. And what I'm going to do is I normally like put it on my phone as like my screensaver and my computer. And so luckily I can have multiple savers. So I will have those as them, so that I can just constantly refer back to it, to keep it top of mind. If that doesn't work for you, put it up in your house, in your room, on your mirror. Just keep it front and center and go back to it, because you don't want to put it somewhere and not give the energy into it, because you got to get the energy into it, and then go forth and do. That's really what it is. Go forth and do. I put a lot of resources in last week's episode. It's time to put in work that can help you along some of those pillars. If you need guidance and support, please make sure, again, like I said, check it out, because I'm not trying to gatekeep. Or if you have questions, reach out. I'm happy to answer any questions that I have, that I can share any information I have and resources, because there's space in here for all of us to win. And so essentially that's my quadrant. And as you can see, it all kind of works together, because like I said, when you are physically well, you are more apt to be emotionally, financially, and spiritually well, because you can make good decisions. Let's make some good decisions going into 2024. Let's be grateful. Like I said, this is a year of unshakable faith. This is a year of audacious prayers. This is a year of expansion. God is ready to do a new thing in all of us. We just have to be ready. So it's our time to be ready and to be available and to be pliable. So I hope that kind of gave you guys some guidance in regards to how I'm thinking, and gave you a little inspiration to think about how you want to do things. I know I told you guys that, yes, my new word that I've come up with now is expansion. And the reason that it's so special to me is because next year in April of 2024, on April the 20th of 2024, to be exact, I will be hosting my first in-person event. I am so excited. It is called The Reset. And The Reset is a day event that I am cultivating at the Wave Hotel in Lake Nona. And I'll make sure I put the link for the hotel down there for us to come together and reset on these 4 core areas that I'm talking to you guys about: physical health, emotional health, financial health, and spiritual health. My plan is that we will start that day off centering ourselves. We will take that energy and pour out our intentions and goals, and we will build community and heal and work together in order for us to really change our lives. It doesn't take 2 weeks to change your life. It doesn't take 6 days to change your life. It takes investment of time. So I'm challenging you to take 60 days to reset yourself. And I want to give you the tools to do that. There will be speakers. There's going to be gifts. There's going to be food. I truly believe in a culture catered lovely, luxurious event. So I promise you all of that and more on this level. There will definitely be more details about everything in January, but I'm really excited to talk about it. Like, I've been working behind the scenes on it for the past couple of months, and it has truly been a labor of love. It is something that just makes me feel so alive to be able to do. And I cannot wait. Tickets will be on sale, like I said, in January, with more events, more event details. But I invite you all to come and to carve out that day. Yes, put a placeholder on it, honey. April the 20th, 2024, The Wave, Lake Nona, Florida, and with me and some of the other amazing women. And we are all going to come together and reset, and we are going to expand. And I promise you, it is my mission that you will leave that event feeling loved, feeling refreshed, feeling focused, and just ready to go out here and tackle the world. So let's do this together. We're resetting, we're growing, we're expanding, and we're going to do exceedingly abundant and amazing, wonderful things together. So I will make sure, like I said, I leave some information in the show notes about all of that. But guys, can you believe it? We're at the end of the episode. Yes, that is it. I will talk to you guys again in January. I promise that I will be back soon. I'm very excited. I'll still be around on social media. But yes, this is now going to be my moment of silence, my moment to reset myself and to renew and to prepare with all those goals I just told y'all going into 2024. I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for an amazing year. Like, I cannot believe we are about to be 4 years old on February the 25th. I'm going to turn 51 and the pod is going to turn 4. I feel like my baby's getting ready to go to school. It's so wonderful to see the growth, and it's so wonderful to be able to connect with you all. Like, the women that I've had a chance to connect with, you have really touched my heart and my soul in so many ways. And I'm so grateful for you. And I hope that I have inspired you. I hope that you are sharing your story. I hope that you are knowing that you can do anything and everything. I cannot wait to continue to meet you and greet you and support you as we go into 2024 and beyond, because literally the reset is just the beginning. There is so much more. It's time for us to grow. It is a season of expansion, and in expansion, I want to take you all with me. So that's why I had to make sure I said this on the last episode of December for 2023 of what's to come for 2024 and beyond. And I'm very grateful. So I really want to thank you all, and to all the guests that I've had this year and all the guests I've had over all the years. I want to thank you because you took a chance on me. You let me have a conversation with you, and I just am so grateful. I like I said, I could not be in this space without you all, and I don't take it for granted. And I value you, and I will continue to come before you with my best at all times. So I truly want to thank you for your continued support, for sharing your stories, for becoming a part of the crew, because you're family now. I will always think of you and support you and encourage you because I believe in you. So thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So guys, I can't say any more other than I love you. Like literally. And I hope you have an amazing holiday with your family. I hope you are loved and happy and thriving. And I hope you know that 2024 is going to be beautiful. Be unshakable, be audacious, be ready to expand, be about the business of you because you deserve everything and then some that is coming to you. So I will be, like I said, around on social media. Check me out. I can't wait to talk to you, connect with you. But the first episode, new episode of 2024 will be on January the 7th. I'm very excited to be back with you then. And I hope you have a great holiday. Take care of yourselves and each other. And we will talk again soon. I love you.